Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Glad to have you here with me. We're going to be watching a quiet weather pattern as high pressure retreats in the east. See that storm across the southern plains? That is going to be combining forces with an area of tropical wave here. So the two are going to combine forces here, target Florida this weekend, and strengthen and head up the U.S. East Coast for next week here, all the way up the U.S. East Coast to Canada. Is this going to be rain, snow, or everything in between? We'll take a look at all the details here as this pattern goes active, and we'll take a look at your Christmas outlook and New Year's outlook through North America and the tropics and beyond. Let's get into it. All right, so starting off with the European model here, let's take a look. So at the beginning here, I showed you that's high pressure in the east, keeping things really quiet for this time of year. But look what's brewing here. This area of problem here into the northwestern Caribbean, and eventually, let's get a timestamp here. There it is. So the December 15th at 7 p.m. So this is Friday evening. You can see what's going on. So eventually, overnight Thursday, look at what happens here across Texas. This area of stormy weather begins to head southeast here, and you have this energy across the tropics. These two are going to meet up. You can see this is 10 p.m. on the 16th, so this is Saturday. Look at that. So we have initiation of this low-pressure system. Could this become something subtropical? It's possible. This time of year, it's really hard to get that sort of thing, but, there's two systems coming together here, coming right over Tampa by early morning Sunday. And look at by 4 p.m. Sunday, this thing is starting to book it towards the northeast here. It actually is dragging tropical moisture across the rest of the Caribbean. I'll show you that in my tropical update a couple minutes from now in this video. But look at this. This storm really starts to intensify. 985 millibars here by 10 p.m. Sunday evening. We're going to see if this possibly could have any snow on the fringes here. It looks like there's a lot of warm air wrapped around it, but it looks like a very intense area of low pressure here. This is 982 millibars here near Delmarva. You can see it's going to be pushing some very heavy moisture up here. Sad to say, I think a lot of this looks like rain. So low pressure does start to head inland. This is 4 p.m. on the 18th, so this is right around Monday afternoon and evening here. So this thing's really winding up. Let me zoom out here for you, because Canada is really going to start getting in the act of this. This becomes an inland cutter here, essentially, strengthening to 979 millibars. Look at this high just blocking it to the east, so it can't really go out to sea. That's the big block that I was talking about. And look at what happens here. This is the 19th at 4 a.m. Tuesday morning. Look what starts to form behind it here. Another area of low pressure. So our big low is heading to the north here, and another low starts to take its place. Will this actually fill in with moisture as well? Well, let's take a look here. That kind of just spins pinwheels kind of in a fashion towards Nova Scotia here in New Brunswick, and eventually Newfoundland as we head towards the 21st. Now look what starts to happen here. Here is the 22nd. So we got a big system diving towards California here. So this starting to look like our El Nino pattern starting to take effect. We get another low here. It looks like kind of like an Alberta clipper here across Quebec. In the last few frames here, this looks really promising. This looks like our classic El Nino pattern, a big storm heading south here. Could that set us up for an East Coast system here on or just after Christmas? Let's take a look at the GFS here. So here we are in the GFS model. It also has our good old precipitation depiction here. So here we go. Let's just put this into motion. You can see the snow across the four corners, the panhandle of Texas. That system pushes to the north. Let me just back that up just a little. So you see that heavier rain moving through Houston, San Antonio area, early morning hours of Friday. Look what's happening. GFS initializing the storm a little bit further to the west than the European model, so that energy catches up a lot quicker. There's the snowfall to the north here over the northern part of the Midwest here in southeast Canada. Look what starts to happen here. This storm really starts to take shape much quicker on the GFS here as we go through Saturday afternoon and evening. This storm pulling to the north, you can see, yeah, lots of moisture here to the south pulling up. Look at this. Here it is. That my suspicions are confirmed. This is an all-rain event, all the way up into much of southern Ontario and Quebec as well. This is going to be just a horrible, muddy, heavy rain event, and flooding could be a potential issue because we've seen so much heavy. Look at that, 982 millibars. right over north central Pennsylvania and the southern tier of New York. Let's just back up, get a timestamp on that. That is Sunday morning, early Sunday morning. That bombs up towards the St. Lawrence Valley. This is an interesting solution, though. Look what starts to happen. Some lake enhanced. So any rain showers change to snow showers on the backside of this from Cleveland, Toledo, Detroit, down to Cincinnati, Buffalo, Erie, Pittsburgh. This could be interesting. Showers continuing here on the east side of this low as we continue throughout Sunday. This is 1 p.m., though, on Monday. Look at this. So, yeah, this is going to be winding up here across the Northeast. So from Sunday to Monday, we start to see that colder air filtering. And look at that, 10 p.m. on Monday. Look at that. Yeah, that's going to be some snow showers continuing here across the Northeast as this low heads right up into eastern, northeastern Quebec. But it continues this tropical moisture connection right into Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and eventually Newfoundland. And there's that big blocking high to the east here. That just continues to come here in time. And watch this as we continue to go. Look at this. High pressure building in across the east. Do we have any chance of major storms? Here's Christmas Day. Doesn't look very Christmassy here in the east. A lot of rain all the way up here into the northeast. And a big low surging up into the Ohio Valley. Does look like the parts of the west and the Midwest could see some snow, especially northwest of Chicago towards Madison and Minneapolis here if this holds true. But yeah, there's a lot of warm air around, and that just doesn't look like it's going. Oh, this looks a bit interesting towards the 28th. Look at this. Some snow developing on the backside of the storm, but look how far out we are, 342 hours out. This could actually give us a decent snowstorm. This is something I'll keep an eye on. Another big system coming into the west coast here. And as we end on this note for the GFS, for that matter, before we go into our next segment, look at this, Florida clearing. This is towards the 30th. So this is going to give you, this is as far out as I can go. This kind of gives you a little snapshot of what New Year's Eve could be looking like, because this is the day before New Year's Eve. So this system pulling away. Florida clearing out nice. There is a little system that we may have to worry about here, but it does look to be a bit weak in nature. And look at the west coast here, waiting for that next storm. So let's take a look at your overall pattern. This really gives us a real good idea of what's going on upstairs in the atmosphere. You can see just that raging inferno ridge here continuing through the weekend across the east. This is behind it where you get the troughiness, though. Look at this as we head towards the Monday the 18th. If we get any cold air filtering back in, any moisture could change to snow, but I'm not expecting any extreme accumulations here. But look at this as we head through Monday there. There is that big old low pressure. It's blocked to the northeast here over Newfoundland and southern Greenland. So it kind of just hangs out here across the northeast most of the week. So it's something we'll have to contend with. If this was a lot colder, this would be quite a big snowstorm across the northeast. But look at this as we kick it towards Christmas week here. Yeah, we got a little bit of a system here in the northeast we'll have to watch. But look what's really kind of choking it out here. This big ridge just to the west. And look at here across the southeast, looking pretty temperate as we go through Christmas and the new year as ridging takes over and some nice weather kicks in. All right, so let's take a look at our HRRR future radar. You know we're dealing with some snow here in parts of Colorado and New Mexico, but watch what happens here as we head through the overnight hours into Friday morning. This turns into more like a shower and thunderstorm activity thing, although snow will be winding up in a very small area on the northwest side of this. Now watch this as we continue in time. Look at the moisture. You see the moisture is feeding in from the southeast, and it's moving east here as well. So there's two pieces of energy coming together. That's what's going to create our Gulf of Mexico low that eventually makes a run up the east coast. Now look at that. There it is. You start to see two areas of low pressure here. Look at this. This is 4 a.m. on Saturday morning. So you have that area of showers and thunderstorms coming through Houston and San Antonio. That is Friday evening into Saturday morning. And there's that initiation of that low pressure system heading towards Florida for later Saturday here. So that sets us up for this potential storm. Look at here across the northeast and Ohio Valley. Clear as a bell through this time period. All right, so here's our liquid equivalent precipitation outlook. Texas there, 1 to as much as 3 inches, mostly in the 2-inch category, though. But the big story is going to be Florida. Look at that. That is a solid 3 to as much as 6 inches of rain, all the way up into coastal South Carolina, even inland here towards the Appalachians, the mountainous terrain. And look at that. We're getting on totals that we already saw in the 2 to 3 inch range across much of the Northeast, approaching 4 inches in parts of western New England there, that we already saw this past weekend. This is not good news to have more rain on top of rain that we already had previously. So flooding is going to continue to be an issue. Now, as we head towards, there it is, the Ohio Valley, yeah, even up into Cleveland there, you're talking about almost up to an inch there as well with this system. It's looking pretty interesting. So here's our snowfall outlook here. We're going with the European model first. As you go through the weekend here, the only snow this is not a lot of snow by any stretch of the imagination. We're looking at about 2 to 5 inches here across Minnesota. Here on the back side of that system, it looks like the lake effect and then the usual mountainous terrain into eastern West Virginia gets involved. And then here up on the backside into parts of up into Quebec here. And then a little system, that back system here, another low pressure getting going in eastern New England. But you know what? This is not a lot of snow as we head through Christmas Eve. This doesn't look like it. Let's take a look at the GFS. So here we go on the GFS as we go through the weekend. It's very similar, although look at this. Monday night. Look at northeast Ohio to northwest Pennsylvania. We do get a little bit of some lake enhancement mixed with synoptic snow on the backside of the system. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on, looking like 2 to 5 inches on average locally, 6 plus there around Erie. Trends we'll have to keep an eye on. Look, you have to go way up into eastern Canada, though, and especially northern and central Quebec here to really get into those 1 to 2 foot amounts. But look at this. We'll head through Christmas here. Yeah, it looks like the Northern Plains, Four Corners region, parts of the Rocky Mountains, Sierra Nevadas, Cascades here looking like the big winner here. But look at this. As we go through Wednesday the 28th, yeah, there's that system I was telling you about earlier. We'll have to keep an eye on it. If this does materialize, this would be a nice between Christmas and New Year's present for you. So here we go into the Northeast. Let's take a look at your liquid equivalent. This is what I'm a bit concerned about. So look at that into Ohio initially. Sunday, you get upwards of 3/4 of an inch across eastern Ohio. But look at this. Eastern Pennsylvania, New York, New England. This is a lot of rainfall. I'm a little concerned. Most areas approaching 2 inches, especially in the red zones. And if we take a look at the snowfall accumulations here, yeah, it looks like on the backside here, 2 inches towards Cleveland, Erie, and Buffalo on the backside. That looks like it's occurring, if you look here on the timestamps, Monday night and early Tuesday morning. And then look at this little system that kicks up here behind our main system. This is mainly on Wednesday into Thursday. Yeah, this could actually kick up close to 3 to 6 inches. Looking pretty interesting here in eastern New England. All right, so taking a look at the tropics here, using our European model first here, this is the energy I was talking about at the beginning of the video here. Look how it starts to congeal. So we're going to have some showers here around Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Belize, Honduras, and that's going to eventually pinwheel towards the north, but it's not going to be over for you just yet because there's the 16th. Look what starts to happen. There's a lot of heavier showers around the Cayman Islands here, and eventually here Jamaica. Look at you start to get in on the act of it again this weekend. Watch this. So the Bahamas, you're really, especially the northern Bahamas initially, and then look what starts to happen. This front is actually going to make it pretty far to the south here. So we're going to have a lot of tropical moisture feeding right up on the east side of this area of low pressure. Even though this low is all the way up here in Georgia and the Carolinas, look at this tropical moisture pull to the north here. That is crazy. Jamaica on the 18th at 4 a.m. Monday morning, you're going to be dealing with some heavy squally weather here, even into parts of Haiti and the Dominican Republic here. And then heading through the Turks and Caicos, you could be getting buffeted by these strong showers and thunderstorms here as they move to the east. Look at that. That front makes it all the way towards Puerto Rico as we head towards the 20th. Behind it, though, look at this flow pattern setting up around this high pressure building into the southeast. That's going to be pushing some of these clouds on a northeast flow. You know, that's going to be a lot less humid and a lot more quieter could set us up for a quiet holiday week here. But look at that. Another area of storminess here heading westward here on some of the trade winds could bring some showers here to the Lesser Antilles. All right, so let's take a look at the tropics here with the GFS initializing that area of low pressure. Look at all this heavy rain across the Northwest Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, you know there's going to be some flooding issues here. Let me just back that up. There it is. This is 1 p.m. on Saturday. It's just looking like a total washout across Florida down to the Cayman Islands. Look at here into parts of Central America as well. You start to clear out just a little bit here, but that rain pivots here towards Jamaica on the 17th. So as we head 10 a.m. on Sunday, yeah, there could be an area of showers and thunder showers moving through. I want to take a look at the Bahamas here as well. Look at this. Yeah, you could be looking at some very heavy rain. Let me just back this up just a little bit for you. So it really starts to come in Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, eventually through Nassau by 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then towards the Turks and Caicos here as we head throughout the day on Sunday and Sunday night. And this just progresses towards the east as we continue towards the 19th. Look at how things clear out behind it, though, even towards Belize and Honduras. That's some great news. Look at much of Mexico here, just nice and clear as a bell. That's going to be some really welcome weather for you as we head into Christmas week here. Look at how quiet things are looking until we get to the 29th. Take this with a grain of salt. This is really far out, but look at this frontal boundary moving through Jamaica here and the Turks and Caicos here. This could be quite a big deal here as we get some strong showers and thunder showers towards December 29th. So taking a look at the Caribbean here, your liquid rainfall amounts. Look at, yeah, you hope it's liquid down here. It's always going to be liquid. Let's take a look here. Belize all the way up to parts of the Florida Keys. Yeah, you're talking about 70 to 100 millimeters here, 2 to 3 inches. Look at that. The Cayman Islands getting hit with 100 to 150 millimeters. Kind of in a little hole here in Jamaica, although I still think you'll see a solid 50 to 75 millimeters here. So that's going to be interesting as we continue to go through the weekend into early next week. So something we'll have to keep an eye on. The Bahamas, the northern Bahamas getting 100 to 150 millimeters. And then even the southern Bahamas near the Turks and Caicos here, upwards of 90 to 100 millimeters. Solid 3 to 4 inches likely. So heading to the Eastern Caribbean here, there is not a whole lot to talk about, although there will be an area around the Dominican Republic here as we get into the late weekend here that could get close to 100 millimeters of rainfall here, even down towards the Lesser Antilles here as we get towards these areas could see 40 to 60 millimeters, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So not too much happening back here. All right, so as we head to the Western Pacific here, look what's going on. Things are quieting down just a tad here in Australia. What's left of Jasper kind of just hanging out along the northern coast here of Australia. But as we head north here across the Philippines and beyond, we have this area of low pressure that we will continue to have to watch here that could be pushing towards the southern part of the Philippines as we head towards the 17th and the 18th. It doesn't look like it's going to develop, though, anytime soon as that continues to head west. You can see it does try to close off a low pressure system, but it's kind of hung up here in a frontal boundary, as you can see in South Vietnam. So, yeah, it does try to close off, but I think development is not very favorable at this time. As we continue to cross the rest of the Pacific here, let's see if there's any major storms, because you know these type of big storms heading up towards the Aleutian Islands can really affect our weather pattern here on the U.S. East Coast and Canada. Look at that. That's a big storm. Some of these storms could actually prompt a big pattern change in eastern North America. And don't go anywhere. I just have more weather here in just a moment. Check out my affiliate here, these awesome maps. Have a look at this.
I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code.
All right, so let's take a look at our temperature outlook here. Always interesting to take a look at this. So here we go in time. Yeah, big old warm air surging to the northeast here. That's just going to continue as we go out in time here. 50s and 60s all the way up to the Ohio River Valley. And look at this for Saturday. Yeah, this is very, very mild for this time of year. It's just going to continue to be mild. As you can see here across Texas, we get a little shot of 50s here, but 50s all the way up to the Ohio Valley into parts of New York and Pennsylvania. It could be a lot colder this time of year. Now look what starts to happen here on the backside of the system. Cold air pivoting here. Can we really start to filter it in? As we get into the Great Lakes here, let's take a look and see if we got any filtering going. Yeah, it actually, on the backside of the system Monday, look at this, 30s and even some upper 20s here in western New York, northern New York. So that's something it'll feel a bit more like winter here, even 30s in the Ohio River Valley. So on the backside of the storm, it's going to get windy and bluster. But look how quickly things start to warm up back in the 40s here in the Ohio Valley. Look at 60s surging across the southern states here. So Rockies even don't look that cold. And look at the here into Wednesday, that's December 20th. Yeah, warm air is continuing. Only some colder air here into parts of the upper Midwest and extreme northern New England. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Let's take a look here Friday, all the way through the weekend into next week. Sunny skies Friday, 54. If you have it off, get out there and enjoy. Get some Christmas shopping done. Saturday, we're still holding on to partly sunny skies near 50 degrees. But Sunday, the rain starts moving in, particularly Sunday afternoon and evening, maybe up to a half to 3/4 of an inch as well into Monday. Another potential inch or inch and a half. This could be a lot of rain, so flooding could become a potential here. Rivers might actually become close to bankful or at bankful or just slightly above. The smaller creeks may have to be watched here. As we get throughout the rest of next week, look at that. It gets a little bit colder behind that system, so rain will change to some wet snowflakes. Not too much accumulation, though. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also at Weather Northeastern, also at Hurricane Northeastern, and also at Susquehanna Weather. Also Twitter at Weather Eastern, and you can visit me at MeteoMark.com. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to check out my winter weather outlook for 2023-24, and link in the description down below, as well as my affiliate, Trilogy Maps.